Hey, what's up, YouTube? So today we're going to be talking about really just uh, the Pacquiao return, which I believe he will return. Um, Main reason why I'm saying that is if he was hurt, if it turns out he was hurt, he'll return because at his age, not his age, but in his current condition, and this is any fighter that's looked bad, that's suffered a loss. If they were truly hurt, they're gonna make a comeback. Um, uh, we didn't see the mobility in Pacquiao with his legs, and he did seem a little stiff in there. So we all know it was the calves that were going out. Um, so with all that being said, um, I think we will probably see him in 2022. Um, Especially if he doesn't win that presidency. I think every year that Pacquiao does not retire, I think that just elevates him to another level. It's like that. It's like an amazing soap opera or movie, and they put out another episode, and you're already in love with it, right? And there was only two guys that were fighting at that level, and it was um, Floyd Mayweather, or that had that attraction. Only Pacquiao had, in my personal opinion, had that impactful, aggressive uh, fighter, and then Mayweather was a boxer that was boring to watch with the clinching, running, and all of that, and that's based off of preferences. But you know, I personally wouldn't be scared to get in the ring with Floyd. Of course, he'd be more aggressive with me because I'm not very dangerous. But even then, um, that's the whole thing. You're scared to get in the ring with Pacquiao. Everybody wants to be like Pacquiao. No one really wants to be like Floyd. Um, Pacquiao makes you look like, oh shit, I don't think I could ever be a boxer. And well, it's not easy to be in Floyd either, but I guess you get my point. But with all that being said, if he wasn't hurt, I definitely believe he'll be back. I think we'll be seeing him late 2022 or even possibly 2023. But if he wasn't hurt, I guarantee he's comes. I guarantee he comes back. Um, if if anyone would be willing to let the dust settle, I think it's probably Manny Pacquiao, and he's earned the right to for that to happen. I think he wants someone. I think he's wanting some of these guys to eliminate each other. He doesn't just want to fight everyone. If if who is it? Ugas fights Errol Spence, and there's an eliminatory fight, and we get to see Terence Crawford versus Spence, which I don't think is going to happen, to be honest. I think, I just think that styles make fights, and sometimes fighters are willing to make the fight stylistically impossible for the other guy to win. Floyd is a good example of that. He didn't care if he was gonna be criticized as long as he got the win. It allows him to be it allowed him to be this marketable person. And fighters understand that, and fighters understand who's able to pot shot run. And if they know they're gonna do that, then they avoid them, and they don't want to fight him. Not because they're going to lose, but it's who gets the win at the end of the day. And a lot of fighters, it's kind of like flag football. That's what Floyd played. He played kind of like flag boxing. He just touched people, ran the clock out. And if you're Errol Spence and you think Terence Crawford had the ability to do that, he's probably going to avoid him. Or if his staff thinks that. if you're the advisor and he says, "Man, I think he can just touch you and just run and then play that card with us. Doesn't matter what the people think. Um, if they use that strategy towards us, and we believe that they'll utilize those strategies, we want no part of it. We want someone that's going to come forward. We want someone that's going to that benefits our style, and that's going to allow us to fight the way that benefits us, that makes us look good, and ultimately allow us to continue to win. This is strategy. It's not only from the fighter's point of view. This is their camp. This is their staff. This is their advisors. Everyone's um, um, sizing up the opponent, making sure that they win, that they continue to hold the crown and hold that bargaining chip. So I think I see Thurman. I think I see not Thurman, but Errol Spence kind of putting off Terence Crawford. And to be honest, I mean, only in boxing I always hear the word casual boxing makes boxing $1 million sport. No one gives a shit about the professionals, or not professionals, but the professional watchers, the professional fans that know too much, for boxing's own good. They don't want to. We want all the gravy, man. We want the best to fight the best, and we're not excited by almost 80% of what they put in our face. Real boxing fans, you got the ones that do the videos like me, and other than that, they probably don't watch a lot of fights. And the only reason they do is because they go live, but they kind of watch them just for the fun of it. I can't remember when I've watched a full fight. I usually do like those quick highlights. But with that being said, I believe Manny comes back and he ends up fighting probably Errol Spence, Ugas, and man, just you guys think about it. What do you think happens if the winner of Ugas and Errol Spence wins, right? Whoever wins out of that gets the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao in a comeback fight because he was not hurt. Let's just say he was not hurt, right? If that's true, there's no way either of those guys give the fight to Terence Crawford, because even at that, Terence Crawford has still not been able to gather up the momentum that Manny Pacquiao has at this point. He won't have that momentum or that that following that Manny Pacquiao has ever. I don't think so. The reason why it could be because, and no disrespect to Terrence, but Manny Pacquiao, I believe, just fought more people, more dangerous fighters, more bigger names, and he wasn't scared to lose. He has some losses on his record, but that allowed people to stay entertained, to keep seeing his name. The more active you are, the more people know you are. Floyd got his attention through being hated. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You even have a lot of African American fighters that are not big fans of Floyd, but that's how he got his And he was actually didn't mind, dressing up like, like a vaquero with his or mariachi hat and coming out and doing his spectacles. That actually helped. That's that's the good part that Floyd got away with because he got the Mexicans' attention. Um, and you have to kind of cross those cultures, and you have to appeal to. If you're a Mexican, you have to appeal to black people. And vice versa to white people. Everyone, you need to learn the language. You see Canelo speaking English now. So that those are really good things. People love hearing Canelo speak English instead of using a translator. We like hearing him talk shit. I think it's interesting whether it be annoying or whether you find it to be annoying or not. It's direct representation. Um, but yeah, that's what I think happens. I think Pacquiao comes back. I think he steals the spotlight from Terence Crawford. And if Terence Crawford is smart, he needs to stop waiting for the cash cow to come and land on his lap. He wants he pretty much the only fight that he thinks is gonna make any sense is for him for he needs to give up on the welterweight division and move up and even just pick a weak guy, even if it's not the best. Dude, if he if this is the best thing that he could possibly do. Go up. If he thinks he can beat Charlo, fight Charlo. Dude, imagine what happens if he beats Charlo. Absolute hype explosion. Even for myself, it's exciting. It's dangerous. That's what people want to see. What made Pacquiao so interesting? That at his height and the fact that he's a shorter guy that's not supposed to be a natural welterweight was beating up the guys that Floyd Mayweather beat via decision. This guy bloodied up and beat and pounded and stopped, right? This is the exciting part. This is why we want to watch Manny Pacquiao, not Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather would run half of the 6 rounds. He'd only fight 6 rounds. That's my conclusion, right? So by Terence doing this, he beats um he beats Errol Spence's homeboy and buddy, which is at a different weight division. What does this tell the public? He beat your homeboy. Your homeboy's at a bigger weight division. He beat him. He took down Goliath. You know what I mean? He beat down. Now we want to watch. That's what he needs to do. He needs to skip his ass. Skip freaking Errol Spence. If he beats Charlo, he literally snatches the spotlight from Errol Spence and he becomes the main attraction automatically. See, that's what people aren't realizing, and he doesn't have to do it in a fashionable way. Look at Floyd Mayweather. Show me a fight where he won in a I mean Canelo's win wasn't it was more like a he never hurt him, he just touched him consistently throughout the fight. But how did that translate into the people's eye? He schooled him. He took him to school. I don't know what other terminology can be used, but I mean he's just ring generalship, just amazing, untouchable. Just look at some of the Floyd lovers, and you'll see their interpretation of how that comes across. Dude, he's gonna be the main attraction. That's what Terence Crawford needs, because the biggest name he has is Porter, which looked to the majority of the public like a like something that was fixed. he said, "I'm already done. I'm not taking the beating." It didn't look good for Terence Crawford. It's not a it was it's not like a it's not a big achievement. The way it looked was horrible. That's not helping Terence. That fight. He needs a bigger name, and he needs to take down some type of Goliath. He needs to be David, and he needs to steal the spotlight so that he's the attraction, and so these guys are asking him for the fight. He needs to steal the freaking fans, and that's how you do it. And if he's as versatile as he says he is, and if he's half as good as Manny Pacquiao, he shouldn't have a trouble moving up another weight. Manny Pacquiao's eight division world champion. So if he's got two weight divisions over you and you can't move up to those, um, you're never gonna be that huge attraction. Even if you want to stay at welterweight, you need to do that. And you see he's running out of time. He's got Virgil Ortiz and Boots telling his ass, and what those are high risk, low reward. He needs there's more money in Charlo. There's more money in he needs to take a riskier fight, because those guys could upset him. And the reason why I say they upset him, because he doesn't have the star power. You start winning these huge important matches when you're a cash cow. When you're a cash cow, people around you and your staffing and the bets, they all bet in your favor. Whether judges are bought out, you start seeing people just pulling little moves and doing little things that benefit you, from the referee to the judges. And he doesn't have that. And what I'm scared of is, if he fights one of these guys and beats them by a small margin, I think he runs a risk of losing. Unlike Floyd, he only fought in Las Vegas, and I just don't think Terence Crawford has that star power that would allow him to beat someone in a really close fight. You having a lot of upsets right now, and just like there's corruption, someone could buy a round and do all of these little things add up that could ultimately give a Boots or Virgil Ortiz a win over Terence Crawford. And man, that's a straight shot to the top. Once Virgil or these guys get to the top, I mean, you think Terence Crawford's going to be wanting to fight these guys? Now he's going to be on the same level of Virgil and Terence Crawford. And these guys have already got more popularity than Terence Crawford. Maybe not the pound for pound list, maybe not, but they almost have the same notoriety. If you ask my nephews who Terence Crawford is, they may or may not know. Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. I just showed them a video of Jaron Ennis, and they liked it. They liked the way he fights, and I was telling them, hey, this is the next top dog. And Terence Crawford's still trying to demonstrate that. He still hasn't proven it. You have a lot of people that it's more like some of the veteran African American fighters that respect him want to see him get his roses, just because of all of the obstacles that have been put in his place, and the reason why he hasn't been able to be in the place that he should be. But even with all that being said, when you have two networks, there's always going to be that there's always going to be that. So you have to bring the attraction to yourself. He has to jump up to another weight division. He needs to shake some trees. He needs to put the spotlight on himself. He doesn't have that. He. It looks like he gets really comfortable, and I like seeing his personal videos. When he's one on one, I like talking mess to Errol Spence. But when he's being interviewed on mass TV, I think he just it's just not him. He's more of a natural guy, and he's not gonna put an act on. He's a real guy, and I think his promoting needs to be done with dangerous stuff. Look at Canelo. Canelo's going to cruiserweight. He's fighting a guy that he knows that he can touch up and walk away with the win via touches, and that's what Terence Crawford needs to do. He needs to become more known. He needs people to say, "Oh man, he's moving up in weight, and he's gonna touch him. He's gonna fight. Oh man, that's dangerous." He needs everybody talking about how dangerous this is. Him versus Charlo, and the fact that Charlo always messes around with Errol Spence and tells him that he would beat him, and the fact that Charlo is chasing Canelo, which is Canelo's supposed to be the pound for pound. Dude, if he upsets him, believe me, Errol Spence, he's going to have Errol Spence eating off of his hand. He's going to be the A side. He's going to be able to call some shots. And he won't need Errol Spence anymore. To be honest, I think I wouldn't even if he were to win a fight like that, I wouldn't be surprised if he could get away with a 60-40 split his way. And that's the beauty of it. That's what he needs to do, because who do the guys that he wants to get the notoriety from are running like Floyd. He's never gonna touch him. They're gonna run, clinch, play stupid, and they're gonna walk away with their hands up, and they're gonna say, "I can't fight you." Errol already told Terence Crawford, "It's business, and that's why I don't want to fight you." So why is he saying that? He pretty much told him, "Dude, you bring nothing to the table. Although you're my best and most challenging opponent, it doesn't make financial sense. And to be honest, with Errol Spence's eye and the accident, if anyone's gonna be cherry picking and deserves a cherry pick, it's him. He's at the top. He doesn't need Terence Crawford because people don't know who the hell he is. He doesn't need Terence Crawford. Hell, somebody just said that Ugas is just as may just be pretty damn threatful. He may upset him. He may upset Errol. So, and let's say Ugas upset Errol Spence. You think he's gonna go fight Terence Crawford, or he gets a few walks in the park, some easy fights in there, just to make some of the money, hang on to the belts for a little bit, get the spotlight. That's the only time, I think that's the only time Errol Spence fights Terence Crawford if he loses to Ugas. So if he loses to Ugas, then he's gonna want to fight him, and then by that time Terence Crawford's gonna say, "No, I want to fight. They're not gonna give me my roses if I beat the loser out of Ugas and Spence being Spence. If I beat Spence after Spence loses, even if it's to a decision or to maybe Ugas stealing the fight, and it's controversial, it doesn't matter. He's not going to want to fight him. He's going to want to fight Ugas, and there's probably not going to be a lot of excitement for the fans if Terence beats Ugas. So these are how the things are supposed to work out. But if he goes and beats Charlo, Terence beats Charlo, no one's gonna care about Ugas. No one's gonna care um, uh, about Spence or Boots. Um, Hell, if he makes that much money out of it, he could go fight the brother. If he fights the brother, he makes just as much money. And hell, he could go fight Canelo in a freaking fight that'll fucking make him more money than fighting Errol Spence and Ugas. And even if he just fought both of the Charlos, comes back down, um, man, you know who he could fight? He could go out and beat I bet he beats what who did Canelo just fight? Sweet Hands, whatever his name is. I think he beats him. I think, see, that's what he needs to be doing. He needs to go get those easy wins that have a lot of points, that have a lot of reward points. All of those fights have reward points. The fight that he wants to get, he's waiting and he's getting old, and those youngsters are telling his ass, and he doesn't have a lot of time. So that's what he needs to do. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've run out of things to say, so I'll see you on the next one. And if what I think is true, I think Manny Pacquiao comes out, and that throws a wrench in everything, because I don't know what happens. I really don't know what happens. Well, obviously, Terence gets put on the back burner, but you see what I'm saying? If he comes back, dude, he ain't fighting the true Spence till 2023, 24. It's not around the corner, dude. Stop waiting for it. Anyways, guys, thank you. See you on the next one.